Do you feel like you were ever sort of gender specific with your shoes? Well, and so this brings us to the next issue, which is it a high heel shoe issue, or is it a specific type of shoe? Is it a feminine shoe issue? I think in my mind it's very clear that it's a feminine shoe issue. And it also sounds like it's maybe not just a feminine shoe issue, but it's a adult feminine shoe issue. It's a issue about sort of embracing women's shoes, period, I think. Women, not girl, or not a teenage girl, but women's shoes. It's something about that, isn't it? It sounds like it's more about just adult shoes, period. I would say that there's something slightly sad within me about the fact that you have never allowed yourself to enjoy the pleasures of wearing high heel shoes, because I think it's something that can be a pleasure. And I think it's something that you've missed.
Is the power behind the throne someone else's or my own? Am I strong? Am I cool? Or am I being a fool?
Oh, yo, Louise, now you look like a lady. Look at the muscle, Louise. Oh, Marie, ma hai visto che paio di gambe che sei ritrovato? Aveva un insulto. Mamma mia, fammi un po' vedere girate, Louise. Gira un po', gira. Yeah, questa ci sa pure camminare qui da occhiali, questa ci sta a portare in giro. Oh, yo. Actually, you'll be surprised how your legs look different now. Keep walking. Now, don't come too close, because now you look different, eh?
Okay.
For fantasy, they can support a little pain for be very, very sexy, because that is the bottom line for the woman. They try to do everything for look good. Like, a woman is a wonderful shape. Now, tell us, we try to talk about fantasy, shape. What is this? Is harmony. With all this curve, you know, we talk curve, boobs, bum, nice leg. But actually, is a peace harmony. A woman is a perfect animal. And why not help a little bit with a high heel? Perfect woman, what it's gotta be. For Italian guy, it's gotta be a good cooker, sweet, gentle, and she gotta be a bitch in bed.
A woman with a flat heel, she still is a woman and it's beautiful. But I mean, you don't particularly see it as a man wants to see a woman. When she walks, her bum starts to move, it shows. And it tells a man, here, look, I got it. Okay?
I'm ready.
You want something? Come and get it.
These shoes are extremely sexy. They change a woman's posture. They change the way that she walks, and it's a hot button. It's an erotic hot button. It's a
woman in
poetic metaphor for bondage, for kinky sex, for violence. Yeah.
Is aggressive. The woman who is dancing the stage is aggressive woman, strong.
It makes a woman a real woman.
Have you spoken to women about how they feel in their high heel shoes in that situation? What I'm trying to understand here is how much of that is what you're thinking of and projecting into their minds. When you say that you see the women who are walking and they look ridiculous and the way that they walk is funny and it's odd. Have you spoken to a lot of women in that situation where you've had that feeling? Have you spoken to women about how they feel in their high heel shoes?
I am what I am. Tu vas me suivre, mais là, j'ai juste... Ça, c'est mon petit coin à moi. J'ai toutes mes choses ici, là-dedans. Tous les animateurs, on a un petit coin comme ça. J'ai toutes mes perruques, j'ai les costumes, les décors aussi. Ça, c'est mes souliers pour faire Céline Dion. Ça, c'est pas confortable, puis c'est laid, c'est affreux, j'aime pas ça. Mais ça, tu vois, quand je fais un numéro à plume, ben on porte... ça, c'est encore plus laid. Ça, j'aime pas ça. Moi, tant qu'à porter un talon haut, j'aime mieux avoir un talon haut qu'un... Ça, pour moi, j'aime mieux mettre mes espadrilles. Ouais. Le soulier, là, moi, je trouve que c'est la moitié de la job. Parce que ça nous donne la démarche, ça donne tout. Quand tu as un talon haut, là, t'as pas le choix. Tu marches féminin ou tu marches comme si tu débarquais d'un cheval. T'as pas le choix. T'es obligé de déhancher, puis de... Plus le soulier est haut, plus tu déhanches, puis plus c'est féminin. Même très exagéré, là. Il y a beaucoup de filles qui viennent nous voir et qui nous disent « Hey, comment vous faites? On n'est même pas capable. » Je sais pas. Moi, je mets un pied devant l'autre, puis ça y va. Ça avance tout seul. Comment je fais? Il y a pas de recette magique, je pense. Ou s'il y en a une, ben, je suis né avec. C'est pour ça que je dis que je pense que je suis né avec des talons hauts d'un pied.
Fashion therapist that's going to tell you why you don't wear high heels or why you have this phobia about them. Did you learn anything? Several years ago, I had written a book called The Sex Life of the Foot and Shoe. The first or opening sentence of that book was, "The foot is an erotic organ and the shoe is its sexual covering." The two are just mated as though they were male and female. A shoe is against a woman's foot 16 hours a day. Now, leather is actually skin. So here you have skin touching skin, and touch being the most sexual of all the senses, automatically you have a sexual relationship between the foot and the shoe. It's psychological or psychosexual, but we don't think about it, we don't say about it, but it's there 16 hours a day. And that's why women like snug-fitting, tight shoes. People think that they wear tight shoes to make the foot look smaller. That's a secondary reason. The primary reason is the touch and the squeeze, the hug fit. It started 1,000 years ago when they bound the foot. It started in childhood with a girl 5 or 6 years old. The foot was very soft and malleable. So when they would band that foot and bring it close together by bowing it, and that lifted the heel up off the ground. So she had to have something to support it underneath. And as a consequence, they made these lotus shoes with the heel raised on the outside, and sometimes with an additional concealed heel on the inside. So what you had was the equivalent of let's say, a 2-inch heel. And the shoe itself was probably 4 or 5 inches long. It's like for a doll instead of a human being, but this was an adult foot. She had to kind of maneuver her body on these tiny feet. And that maneuvering gave a wavering effect like a willow in the breeze. And just as the Chinese male saw that tiny foot with that willowy walk, and that was his focus of sexual attraction to the woman, today, same thing, only we do it a little differently. We do it with the high, slender heel, which changes the way she walks. Again, gives a sensuous or sensuality to the walk. She walks differently in high heels than she does barefoot. It's a difference between a workhorse and a racehorse. The skeletal structure of that foot in the high heel shoe is almost identical with the bound foot of the ancient Chinese. Look exactly alike because the mechanics, the engineering is the same. When you raise the heel off the foot, the whole anatomy of the forepart of the foot also changes. So the principle hasn't changed at all in 1,000 years.
Power at all cost. Maybe. Seduce and please. Okay. But what about freedom? Freedom to think. Freedom to believe. Freedom to move. To move freely. And not just live in other people's eyes. We can't rewrite history. But change the rules of the game. Maybe.
Well, it sounds as if you've already made up your mind, though. It doesn't sound like you want to really face the issue if you've already decided that you're never going to wear them and they're never going to be part of your life. What's the best situation that could happen for you? What is your hopefully your best outcome? Would you like to be able to wear high heel shoes at 35 years old? Did you dance when you were a young girl? Do you have any sisters?
Elles sont belles. Non, mais la beauté reste là, même si on enlève le sujet.
Poi diciamo un'opinione.
No, sono un po' dei gemuno.
Le gemelle sacre.
Ne di gemuno.
Sono le gemelle casse.
Le sore casse
religieuses. Marco, fatti la chiesa. Monsieur ici, Marco. Monsieur là-bas, oui. Marco.
C'est pas beau. C'est un peu cheap.
Marco, t'aimes ça les femmes qui portent des talons?
C'est très sexy, mais...
Ah, tu vois là? Alors, c'est cheap, mais c'est sexy. Ça veut dire que ta femme ne le porterait pas, mais ta blonde, oui. Hein? Ah. Un italien, non?
Il y a une chose que ça me pique, une femme qui est belle, elle dit, si je vais suivre la mode avec le talon haut, je vais avoir de la facilité pour séduire l'homme. Pourquoi la femme elle doit avoir besoin de ça? Le candile, elle est belle, donc elle n'a pas besoin de faire ça pour séduire l'homme.
Moi, j'ai remarqué ça. Chaque fois que j'avais une femme avec des houssiers, j'ai un arrière qui bouge mieux, je sais pas. Et puis si je me trompe.
Moi, je pense que c'est la vanité. Parce
Lequel est
que
plus
c'est la
confortable?
mode, puis pour être regardé par les hommes quand ils marchent. Là.
Lequel est plus
Parce que c'est
confortable?
tellement pas pratique que je ne comprends pas pourquoi vous les portez.
Est-ce que vous êtes confortable dans les talons? Absolument pas. Alors, on va enlever-les.
Vous vous sentez mieux, par exemple.
Voilà, elle en a assez, les enlève.
Segment gauche, moins 3 cm. Axe du pied, interdigital deuxième. Rapport avant-pied, arrière-pied, 1 et 3/4 sur 1. On va écrire hyperlaxité. Vous allez me faire, vous éteignez le pied droit, merci beaucoup. 67 degrés, pour être plus juste. Là. Gauche et droite, pareil. Bon, d'abord, bien entendu, la première chose qui saute en première vue, là, c'est, bien entendu, vous êtes une personne qui est très jeune, bien sûr. En plus que ça, qui sait exactement ce qu'il veut dans la vie, parce que vous avez des points de vue qui sont très, très, très bien marquants, là. Puis, troisièmement, vous êtes une personne que... Oh, je généralise un peu, parce qu'en réalité, ce n'est pas lire les lignes de la main, hein, mais en 42 ans de professionnalisme, je n'ai jamais vu deux pieds qui ont la même personnalité. C'est impossible, ça n'existe pas. On calcule habituellement la hauteur du talon par la chute du pied, n'est-ce pas? Si je l'installe ici, voyez-vous, à la hauteur où normalement il devrait être, tout de suite, il y a deux choses qui sont complètement compromettantes. La première, c'est que votre point d'appui, voyez-vous, va servir de levier, chose qui va vous faire énormément mal à l'arche, d'abord pour commencer. Donc, c'est pas fonctionnel. La deuxième, c'est que vous allez plier le pied pour porter, voyez-vous, ce niveau-là à la même hauteur. Voyez-vous? Ce qui donne terriblement de stress, parce que n'oubliez pas, vous devez former un plan droit. Le plan droit, c'est le terrain. Le terrain, c'est numéro 0. Ce qui veut dire qu'il n'y a rien qui cède dans le terrain, vous savez. C'est votre pied qui va céder. Donc, le profil va être comme ça à peu près. Voyez-vous le forçage, là? Vous vous rendez compte? Plus le talon est élevé, plus vous forcez là-dessus, là. Vous vous rendez compte de ce qui va se passer ici? Ce qui va se passer là? En plus que ça, vous pouvez faire un très bel oignon ici, via la tendinite que vous allez créer. Ça peut devenir même assez grave parce que la palette va s'ouvrir pour supporter votre cou. Puis automatiquement, vous allez faire un angle qui n'est pas normal du tout. Donc, quoi faire avec ça? Mais c'est très simple. Si vous aimez bien paraître et rester assise, je vous le concède. Mais pour marcher au travail, comme nous avons dit, là, définitivement, c'est une torture. Hein?
So you seem to have an affinity for men's shoes. Can you explain that to me?
Are you for real or insane? Every day you look the same. Those the echoes of your soul. Or are you blinded by the game? You play for power and for fame, looking for something to be gained. Where money talks is where you walk, and egos thrive. You gotta win the race, gotta keep the pace, driving to the bottom line all the time. Hong Kong, Chicago, Montreal, Toronto, New York, LA, Vancouver, Tokyo, telephone, satellites, internet, pager, global trans network, cellular connection, conventional wisdom, increasing production, dividends trade, profit margins, suits and skirts, or one-way signs to upwardly mobile, downloading on us, games and lies for a piece of the pie, and what the fuck? You're the one who wants it. I'm the one who wears it. But the fetish ain't mine. So why don't you keep it? I don't need it. And I'm better without it.
I think that most men fetishize to a considerable degree. That fetishizing is the norm for men, as Robert Stoller put it. But you have to think of it in terms of a continuum. As another psychiatrist put it, if you think everybody has preferences, they prefer certain kinds of clothing, certain kinds of body types. Their sexual partners tend to look a certain way. Some people really prefer it, so they really like high heels, or they really like women with big breasts. Some people can only become potent if the lover is wearing high heels or has very big breasts. And in the level 4 of fetishism, you don't really need a woman. You could just, say, masturbate into a pair of shoes. Now, the level 4 is very unusual, less than 1% of the population, but levels 1 and 2 are very common. So although there's very little pornography devoted solely to foot and shoe fetishes, something like Playboy or any mass market men's magazine will always show the nude wearing high heels. So the perception that high heels are sexy is very widely felt, but some people respond to it very, very strongly, and it becomes really the center of their sexual life.
This one really frightened me.
Oh, yes.
You know?
Well, these typical sadomasochism shoes, fetish shoes.
Dominatrix.
It's a dominatrix, right. And they're a little bit mannish because of the Oxford style. So it's a combination of male-female.
And it reminded me of my mother.
Of your mother, yeah. When did you first get this inclination or feel this attraction to women's shoes with high heels?
Well, that was just after Holland was overrun by the Germans, and of course the SS always wears black. And so they were in our village, and soon after that, the daughter of our neighbor came home in a black outfit, heels I had never seen before, because you know I'm from high heels,
yeah.
And I'm from a Calvinist kind of flat-footed village, so I couldn't figure this, and that she had a love affair with an officer who had overrun our country. And as an attraction, I could see that this officer was attracted to her, but for me, she was a traitor. And also, the women who went with Germans were rounded up, and their hair was cut off, and they put swastikas on their bald heads and so on. And I was standing there, a 14-year-old, looking at this stuff. So the punishment kind of thing of women and treason, you know, and the Matahari effect.
You had a strong preference that with your sexual relations with your wife during the time in bed, she'd be wearing high heels.
Yeah, yeah.
How long was it after you were married that first experience that you told her that? And what was her reaction when you said to her, I'd like to have you wear the high heels in bed?
I think immediately.
Immediately?
Yeah.
What was her response to that?
Oh, she liked that, you know.
Well, she didn't find that unusual at all?
No.
You've been married now, you told me 45 years?
45 years, yeah. Same girl.
Same girl.
Oh, yeah.
All right. When do you wear these shoes?
Oh, hardly ever.
Well,
it was just...
Let's say in earlier years, what would be the occasion that you would wear them?
Well, in the middle of the night, when I wake up, when I know I'm alone.
Yeah, but just around the house.
Yeah, in the daytime I can't stand it.
Yeah, would you wear them
It is an extension of sleeping.
Yes,
Yeah.
all right, an extension of sleeping.
Yeah, yeah. I wake up very early, and sometimes I have the urge to wear these. It's nothing sexual at all.
Well,
no.
Something had to excite you or gratify you in some way.
It is the strength of your legs, because walking on flat you have absolutely no strength in the back muscle because he's stretched all the way, and in heels he is in top strength.
Men and males in general do associate things that seem to them big and long and hard with the penis and with the kind of a whole array of feelings of power that are associated with that. What will be important to stress is that men also need the phallus. If the penis were a phallic symbol, then men wouldn't need military uniforms and neckties and black leather jackets and Levi's and all the other phallic symbols that they wear. So the high heel probably does function as a phallic symbol. That's part of its appeal, especially for men. Yet I don't think women respond with quite the same visceral, sort of sexual, orgasmic fervor to these fetish objects as men do. When women have hundreds of shoes and when they just love and adore shoes, and this is very common, there's a little bit of Imelda Marcos in many, many women, but I don't think it's as overtly sexual. I think women partly get a sort of narcissistic gratification out of shoes which create a fantasy image, say an image of being like a powerful sort of sex dominatrix, or being like a very elegant Audrey Hepburn type, or being like a kind of fashion commando stomping down the street in Doc Martens. I mean, there's different looks that your different shoes have. And I think this element of fantasy and of getting sexual pleasure, indirect sexual pleasure from imagining yourself as different kinds of person is very important for a lot of women. So from that point of view, I think it's oversimplistic to see high heels as just being oppressive to women or, preventing them from working. I think that the image is very important and a very ambiguous image. And I think especially for younger women, very often the high heels are a symbol actually of rebelliousness and liberation, including liberation from the image of being nice.
I could take you apart, cause I know you by heart. In case you hadn't noticed, I'm calling the shots, cause I know you by heart, but I'll give you a chance. So let's change the music and I'll lead the dance. If I were you, I'd stay on guard and I'd let me take the first step, make the first move. Let me take the first step, let me set the groove, cause I know you by heart and I can take you apart. I know you by heart and I can take you apart. I'll do nothing illegal, nothing unauthorized, and if you're moving well, if you're playing it fair, I'll spare the delicate and most tender parts. You'll be getting the honey and I'll save my dart for the nasty ones, the nasty ones. I'll save my dart for the nasty ones. You can try hiding, but you'd waste your time, cause I know you by heart and I can take you apart. I know you by heart and I can take you apart. Take you apart. Take you apart. Take you apart. Take you apart.
Well, in regards to you personally, you don't have a problem at this point. You could let them go, and it's never an issue for you. You never really have to think about it. Is that the case?
Je suis prêt, on va voir à la fin. Ouais, je pense que
ça serait le fun d'avoir de la couleur.
OK, alors elle,
on
garde ça, on lui fait plus des grosses mèches.
Mélanger avec des plus petites mèches, là,
OK,
mais comme...
oui. Mais que ça fasse...
Mais c'est surtout sur le dessus, en fait.
Je sais que je porte pas des talons aiguilles. Je peux pas porter ça, même pas penser les porter pour une heure parce que c'est l'extension d'une journée qui a été lourde de responsabilités de travail où j'ai bougé beaucoup. Alors je suis fatiguée et puis porter ça pour moi ça semble il faudrait que je me repose 3-4 heures avant, que je sois fraîche et dispose pour enfiler une paire de chaussures à talons hauts ou peut-être pour une demi-heure et maximum. Donc ça demande trop de compromis dans mon mode de vie pour accéder à ça. Par contre, je vois des femmes qui le font, puis des femmes qui travaillent, puis qui se font souffrir. Moi, j'adore le mouvement. Alors, j'aime les choses qui bougent, j'aime les matières qui bougent. En fait, c'est pour ça que j'ai choisi la mode. Et donc, je m'organise toujours pour que les mannequins soient à l'aise de marcher. J'ai pas quelque chose de spécifique. J'ai pas un uniforme pour le pied qui fait que c'est statique à chaque saison. Mais c'est vrai que j'utilise les chaussures que je trouve sur le marché les plus adéquates à un rythme de vie qui reflète quelqu'un qui a vraiment les deux pieds sur terre. Et donc, c'est important pour moi que ce mouvement-là soit pas altéré par quelque chose qui empêche d'avancer. La séduction, c'est quelque chose de très, très large qui s'adresse à tous les gens qu'on rencontre dans notre journée, aux gens avec qui on travaille. On a envie d'être aimés. C'est le but ultime de de nos performances, si on veut, c'est que les gens nous aiment, nous adoptent, nous reconnaissent comme un individu extraordinaire et puis tout ça. Alors, le fait de séduire de façon agressive tout le temps, ça démontre un malaise, en fait, à mon sens. Quelqu'un qui arrive à séduire parce qu'il ça fait partie intrinsèque de sa personnalité et ça se traduit dans toutes les pores de sa peau, dans son habillement, dans sa façon d'être, dans son attitude, dans son comportement. Alors, traduire le bien-être, ça passe par le confort, ça passe par des matières, ça passe par Pour moi, ça passe par le vêtement, ça se traduit de façon... C'est une belle extension, finalement, du confort qu'on a avec soi-même ou qu'on n'a pas.
How much for this? $100. $100. You take 50? 50. 70. 80. All right, 80.